it be beautiful if you could find an all-in-one meal plan that flexes for lunch or dinner while saving your sanity on weeknights and doesn't fall apart by Wednesday? How did I know? Well, friend, this is it. Because this is the system that I use to eat like an adult that has it together. Even when I don't. Because listen, y'all, I work full time too. I'm not at home filming all day. And just like you, I come home from work, I kick off my shoes, and I want to eat something that tastes like care, not chaos. So imagine roasting a simple tray of chicken and sweet potatoes and then spinning that into an entire week of flavor. And I'm talking smoky chipotle burritos, a Napa almond chicken salad, golden quinoa cakes with tangy dip, a cozy carrot ginger soup, and an autumn harvest bowl that feels straight out of a cafe. No waste, all taste, and all those copycat flavors you already love. Except they're better because you made them. So if you're ready for dinners that feel home cooked without feeling hard, grab your fridge bins and your cast iron. We're cooking with rhythm, not rules. First this, what you're about to watch me do over the next 90 or so minutes isn't some random batch cook. No, it's part of the full Dinner's Done dispatch, which is the system that I create for my community every single week. And each week we take one base prep session just like this and spin it into 4 or 5 highly flexible meals. And then we hop on a live once a month to talk through what's happening in our kitchen, swap tips, and get you cooking with confidence again. And so, a big thank you to our Dinner's Done dispatchers, the folks who helped inspire this month's theme. They said, Cassandra, I am up to my elbows in cabbage, celery, and potatoes. And can I also get a sequence where I can sneak in some more fermented foods? And so, here we are. I'm starting to see this more and more where organization has now become synonymous with looking like a magazine spread. But for me, the criteria for organization isn't that it has to be pretty, but it must be productive. And good organization to me means that I can walk into my kitchen and start cooking in under 2 minutes. And look, I'll be honest, that's because the best part of me was probably 11 hours ago, the last 9 spent at work. And I just don't have the patience to spend 15 minutes playing ingredient hide and seek. So that's what this system does. It's not aesthetic, but it is 1,000% efficient. I think I'm talking to the people in the back that want to cook smarter, not harder. So that means we're stretching base ingredients, planning with what's in season, and then building meals that stretch with your real life. So that's what my bins are. They are literally the bridge between having food and having dinner. Let's just go ahead and call October what it really is. That moody in-between month where one day you're in flip-flops and the next you're digging through your closet for your biggest scarf. And your body is starting to feel it too. Your cravings shifts, your energy dips. And if you're paying attention, your kitchen should also shift gears. Speaking of gears, it really grinds mine that seasonal eating has now become synonymous with farm girl aesthetic. Because it's not. It's literally just how humans have survived since forever. The weather changes, the land changes, and your plate should too. So October is all about those grounding foods. Roots like sweet potatoes and carrots, sturdy greens, warming spices like ginger or turmeric. And yes, a little bit of fermented magic to keep your gut healthy when the days get shorter. So now I'm going to walk you through the ingredients one by one. And yeah, I know you're going to be watching me do this, but I highly recommend if you've got the time to take me in the kitchen and start to prep your meal bins with me. And this is essentially the grocery list that I give you in the dispatch. And I'm going to tell you what to grab, what to skip, and how to store it so it doesn't wilt on you by Friday. Okay, girlfriend, go ahead and grab meal bin 1. First up is our star protein, which is chicken. Go for a whole bird if you can. The whole bird is going to give you more meat, better flavor, and bones for broth later. Now, you always want to choose a bird that feels heavy for its size with tight, unbroken skin. Now, if a whole bird scares you, and we're going to keep working on that, you want to go for bone-in thighs, and then as a last resort, opt for chicken breast. Because chicken breast is the most expensive cut, and there are so many recipes that instead of using the breast, you can use other parts. Now, I'm one step ahead of you because my birds are in the oven and they're cooling down now. All right, so I got to go ahead and show you all my clearance birds. So this bird, and this is like it's still the store brand, but it's like, no antibiotics, cage-free, locally raised. It doesn't say organic, but okay, whatever. Not all of my food is, but ordinarily this would be $4.47 a pound. So this little bird was $8.45, but no. Your girl grabbed it for, oh, you can't see it, but it's $4.22. So I'm going to roast this bird. And these are just a little bit under 2 pounds, 1.89 pounds. And then I grabbed this bird too for $4.44. I mean, this is a price, like you can't beat that. Oh, this is good. Okay, so let's go ahead. I have my big roaster pan out. I think I can tuck both of these little birds in here. Here's 1 and here's 2. I've stuffed both of these with just an onion and like this flavor is going to be fine. I'm also pairing it with so many other ingredients that like, this is not a bird where I'm trying to go all out. So let me go ahead and put this in the oven. So next up, you're going to need sweet potatoes, and I keep mine right here. Yeah, you just want to store your sweet potatoes in a cool, dark place. I'm going to go ahead and grab a few. This is turmeric. I'm telling you, sweet potatoes are the MVP of October. Now, you just want to choose ones that are firm and heavy and with skin that doesn't look wrinkled or sprouting. So for starters, this time of year, sweet potatoes are cheap, they're plentiful, and they're especially sweet right after they're harvested. Okay, so half of these are going to become crispy roast-beef fries for burritos, and the other half are going to get cubed and roasted. And we're going to use those cubes to tuck into cakes, soups, and grain bowls. And oh, butternut squash would be an excellent stand-in for this. Next up, you're going to need some rice, and this is going to be the quiet backdrop that makes the burritos hearty and the bowls satisfying. And y'all know me, I like to go ahead and just portion out everything in advance. That way, when I get home to cook, I don't have to do like any sorting, finding, digging, all that kind of stuff. And so, yep, I'm going to put it in here and add it to our meal bin. Okay, so next up we need quinoa, and mine is right there. So I actually have two quinoas. This is a red quinoa, and this is regular. Choices. Do I go with the red or stick with the regular? Well, I feel like your company, so we're going to go for the red. Okay, so red quinoa is more expensive because it takes longer to grow than your regular. But let me go ahead and show you a real life fact. There's not too much kind of difference between them either. Some of y'all already know. Yes, exactly. So you know what? I am mostly, this is just the bags that I get from Aldi, and then I will buy this blend in bulk when I go to this bulk food place near me, Mom's Organic Market. This is all I'm going to do, okay? To keep it fancy, to keep a bowl interesting. I mean, I do like to get different varieties to like switch up the nutritional profile. Okay. Bam. Look at this. Look at that. Come on, y'all. Actually, I'm going to stretch that even more. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So I'm also going to portion out my quinoa using this little container. And quinoa is great to cook with because it is high in protein and it cooks in about 15 minutes. And then once this is cooked, this is going to play double duty in our cakes and our grain bowls. Next up, you're going to need some onions. By the way, you see these little bags hanging on regular like door hooks all over my kitchen. Like this is one that's over here. And I like using those because one, I mean, I normally just like grab them from the top, but they have, these are just something I found on Amazon, y'all. Not expensive. You just need something with airflow. My grandmother would even use like pantyhose. So yeah, I'm storing some onions over here, but I buy onions like all the time. And so I have one bag, which is what I'm like currently using. And then that's like my newer bag that's over there. I also have limes in here, whatever I'm cooking with. And then hanging off this thing, my pan rack, I have lemons. So yeah, when you get your onions and hear that sound, that's what you want. So your onions, they should feel heavy with very tight and papery skins. So see, now that this bag is empty, I'm just going to, and I also just keep our lunch boxes on those hooks for the morning. I'm just going to take this off and I'm going to move it to over here on this rack because now I'm going to use those. And then when I get some more onions, I got this one. Okay, y'all, so I'm just going to insert this because some of y'all will find this a little funny and relatable. And so my grandmothers are like this. My mom is like this. And now I'm absolutely like this too. So what you just saw me do is something that when I have someone helping me in the kitchen, and it could just be like my dad or a friend that's over, even my husband, I will absolutely be like, get me the onions, but I need them off of the one on the on the pan rack, right? Like I would say that, or I would be like, not by the window, get the ones over there, because there's a strategy, right? Like you just can't be picking and choosing all willy-nilly. Because sometimes you'll get those folks in the kitchen that don't know and they'll be like, what? This is an onion. And my grandmothers would be like, I'm not using those right now. So the apple does not fall far from the tree. Okay, so next you're going to need some type of carrier for the chicken salad. You can go with keto options like pepper or lettuce, or you can go with burrito wraps. Now, y'all know that I buy these in bulk and then I just like break them down or several packages at a time and freeze them. These are the keto ones from Aldi. And like, There's not a discernible taste difference. So if you're keto, get those. The ingredients are pretty good. I went over them in the last video. They're not expensive, but I only have for our lunches like 4 of these left. But I'm also going to use some croissants. I feel kind of fancy. Now these are actually, I need to go ahead and use these because I don't have really enough of these either, but I will have, I think, either like 8 or 10 by the end of the week, because these are off of the reduced for quick sale bread bakery rack that I tell you all about. So I just pulled those out of the freezer. Next up, you're going to need some peppers, and peppers should always be shiny and firm with no soft spots. Reds are sweeter, greens are more savory and cheaper. Either works. You're also going to need some black beans, which are your burritos' best friend, and a 15-ounce can for a family of 2 is just fine. This is actually the organic line from Aldi, which is a 15.5-ounce can. Now, you can absolutely use dry beans with bay leaf and garlic. That would be unbeatable flavor. Sorry, I got to let Thor in. Look what I did, y'all. I did it. I got another green stalk. And I got the berry flavor. Sorry, color. I got the berry color, this blackberry. She is gorgeous. It's also been unseasonably warm this October. And so, which is fine, you know, that's why I love fall gardening. But anyways, different video. And then next up, you're going to need some cilantro and lime. And I know cilantro is very polarizing. You either love it like I do, or you think it tastes like soap. And I think I read somewhere that the people that think it tastes like soap are picking up on something that those of us that aren't. And if you're not growing cilantro, when you pick it up from the store, you just want to make sure that it has bright green leaves with no yellowing. And yes, you absolutely want to store the stems in water like a bouquet. So your lime should feel heavy and give slightly when squeezed, because when they do that, you know you've got the juicy ones. Next, you're going to need some purple cabbage. And this beautiful jewel tone veggie is going to bring both crunch and color. And you always want to choose a dense, heavy head with shiny skin. Okay, so half of this is going to be fresh slaw for our burritos. And then the other half, but really I just went ahead and got 2 heads, is going to become fermented kraut. Ooh. Yep, I'll show you how to make it. Now, whole heads of this are going to last you for weeks in the fridge, so don't worry about it going limp. Oh, look at this pretty sight. So in October, grapes are at their peak. They are plump, they are firm and sweet. These things are candy. Oh, that is so sweet. So good. So in the chicken salad that we make, they're going to be the little burst of juicy sweetness that balance out the creamy mayo. Now you're also going to need some nuts, and I recommend sliced almonds and glazed pecans. So we're actually going to toast these sliced almonds, and they're going to add crunch. And then the pecans are going to add that sweet savory note. You're also going to need some mayo, and this is actually homemade fermented mayo. And you're also going to need some celery stuffing. But you could also just use regular celery, and I have a bit, so I'll probably use a combination of both. The combination of these 2 together are another easy win in the fermented foods category. This mayo recipe is creamy. It is delicious. It is a condiment that your family is used to already eating, and they're not going to discern the difference that this is fermented mayo. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Let me get a spoon. Okay, so this is a recipe that I have already made a video about here on the channel that people love, right? Like, that's mayo. And it's so good. I am heavy-handed on the dill in mine. I just love dill in my mayo. And then this fermented celery I love because this is the only way that celery will keep its crunch long-term, right? Like, because when I am cooking with celery, it's not that I use an entire stalk all of the time. And you can't just put it in the freezer because then it loses its texture. And so when I found this fermented celery recipe, it has been a go-to for years now. And just like that, meal bin 1 is done. Okay, so now we have meal bin 2, and this is going to house our quinoa cakes and our soup. Our cooked quinoa is going to be in here, and then also our roasted sweet potatoes. So in this bag, I have some eggs, which are going to be the binder for our cakes. And I like doing this, right? Like taking a couple of eggs or other ingredients that are in general circulation and removing them, just so that, again, I have the peace of mind that like what I need is absolutely going to be there. So you're also going to need some breadcrumbs, or you can even use almond flour, but the breadcrumbs are going to make our patties crisp, and then almond flour will make them grain-free with this nutty richness. Now, if you've got fresh parsley or sage or thyme, bring them out, because chopped fresh herbs stirred into our quinoa cakes is going to give them this flavor that dry just can't touch. And I know that curly parsley is cute, but you really want to go with flat for taste. Okay, so now you need the fall trinity. Carrots, ginger, and turmeric. Carrots will last a long time in your fridge. Just make sure that you take them out of the plastic that they come in and store them in cloth like linen or even cotton. And I love carrots because one, they are cheap, they are plentiful, and they are especially sweet right now. Okay, so then you're going to pair your carrots with fresh ginger root and turmeric for soup that tastes like a hug but heals like a medicine. Okay, so just know that fresh turmeric stains everything yellow, so handle with care. Powdered absolutely works too. Okay, so next you're going to need vegetable broth, and always opt for low sodium if you're using boxed broth so you can season it to your taste. You can also make your own with chicken bones, but this is actually something that I do all the time. It is with just vegetable scraps and then like a little bit of bones, and I make it just like in the crock pot. So when you think about all of the scraps that I am generating on a weekly basis, I love doing that. So this is just like, there's good flavor in there. I just season it with a little bit of like salt, herbs from the garden. It's delicious and it's free because the price of stock and broth, it's like, it's really going up for what it is. Like for a box container, I think it's like $2.50. I mean, that adds up, but you all see that I always have some type of like stock or broth that's scrap based, right? And it's delicious. And I also want to add that broth is an excellent way just to squeeze out additional nutrients and added protein that are already in food that you're just going to, otherwise discard. Oh, and another thing, broth is the canvas, but you paint the flavor. We're also going to use kefir, but you could use yogurt. So this is going to add probiotics and a creamy tang. You really want to go with plain and make sure that there are 0 added sugars. And again, we're using fermented foods in every meal and your family is not going to fuss. And voila, just like that, meal bin 2 is done. Okay, friends, so go ahead and grab meal bin 3. So how meal bin 3 is functioning this month is that if you have anything that is left over or not used, either from when we make our base recipe or throughout the week, you're going to deposit it in this bin. And don't get hung up on the quantities either, because this is a non-recipe that flexes. So for example, you're likely going to have some leftover like rice or quinoa, and we are going to go ahead and pair that with some arugula. I know you can't tell that it's arugula or whatever greens like you want to use, whether you're like growing them out in your garden or you've picked them up from the store. I do especially enjoy arugula this time of year. But as you have your greens, you want to store them in some type of like cloth or moisture wicking fabric, because that's what makes them last longer. They're not going to wilt on you or dry up or get soggy. So don't leave them in their plastic bin. And I do have like right now, I just have like 2 of these. Can you see? Yeah, I just have like 2 of these right now. And that's fine because it's not about me having like a set. Sorry. Serious. Okay. Because I already have lots of cloth napkins, right? And I have like these containers. And so, or these like little bags, these stasher bags, they're nice, but again, they're kind of like pricey. So I don't have a set of these either, but collectively, I do have enough of everything to get the job done. Now, October apples are crisp and sweet and tart. And you want to look for ones that are firm without bruises. And for salads, Honeycrisp or Pink Lady apples are excellent. Now, as much as I love apples, you actually want to store them in the fridge drawer away from other produce because they can accelerate the spoiling process in other fruits because they give off something called ethylene gas. You're also going to need some pumpkin seeds, and these tiny but mighty seeds are packed with zinc. So you just want to buy them raw, and then what we're going to do is just toast them with a little bit of olive oil and smoked paprika. And again, I'm just going to portion off what we need. And doing this now just saves me from, the tedious work of grabbing this and grabbing that later on. Telling you, the satisfaction, well, truly it's the feeling that I get. Like I feel it in my neck. I feel it like on this side of my shoulder when I just see that like the meals that I'm going to cook for the next week are here. They're done. Well done in terms of do I have everything, which is already a major win, right? Because you don't want to go to like make recipes and realize, oh man, it would have been nice to have this, or I don't have this. No, like it is all right here, ready for me to just sit on the counter and cook. So there is another step that I'm going to do, which is to create the base recipe. It is not tedious at all. We're gonna cut the oven on and let it do the work. Make some rice and quinoa on the stove. My kitchen is not a mess now, and it's not gonna be a mess even after we do that part. I just grabbed my 2 chickens from the oven, and because all I had to do was just sort food into bins, which isn't tiring or mentally taxing, like I still feel really good about going ahead and making this base recipe. And for those of y'all that are here for every meal sequence, you know that the base recipe is how I'm actively in my kitchen throughout the week, maybe only twice. By the way, if you're watching this and you're thinking, I need this kind of rhythm every single week, that's what I teach inside the Dinner's Done Dispatch. And every week I give you a brand new sequence, just like this one. But it's not just me. You're also going to join a kitchen full of other home cooks figuring it out. So when you're done watching, go to dinnersdonedispatch.com and join us. We'll save you a seat at the table. Friends, welcome to the foundation session. Everything we do right now, the roasting, the toasting, the simmering, is going to set us up for the rest of the week, and you're going to finish with 3 meals. So like I mentioned earlier, I already have my roasted chicken and my sweet potatoes. They're just cooling out on the stove. And as I mentioned, chicken is our backbone protein for this meal sequence. But here's the thing. If you're about to go out and buy chicken, please do not get chicken breast. Let me let you in on a little economy secret. Go for thighs or whole bird. Because in comparison to chicken breast, a whole bird or thighs are juicier, they're cheaper, and they're way more forgiving. And chicken breasts are like the fancy cousin at the family reunion. They look good, but they dry out quickly if you don't treat them right. But if you're gonna use chicken breast, just promise me that you're gonna baste them with a little bit of butter halfway through roasting.
Okay, friends, so today is actually Saturday, October 18th. And I've seen here, oh my goodness, $16.37 for a bird that's already cut up, but it's marked down 50% off to $8.18. This is a bigger bird. It's a little over 6 pounds here. But then, and you still see lots of like yellow stickers here. But then I'm coming over here and I'm noticing that I can still get a pretty big bird. Where's the poundage on this one? So this bird is $7, $8.63, $6.88. I'm still going to go ahead. It's still cheaper to get the whole bird.
And then for your sweet potatoes, you're just going to dice them up, toss them in a pan with a little bit of avocado oil or ghee. So with that being said, go ahead and grab meal bin 1. Go ahead and fill that sink with some hot soapy water. And I also need you to grab 2 pans. Here's 1. Here's 2. So let's go ahead and start with the rice. And before you even think about boiling it, I want you to rinse it. And you're going to rinse it until the water runs clear. Now I am just using this is a salad spinner without the lid part, just because my colander, like the holes are too big and I don't want to lose any of my rice. See, like right now, this is the color of our rice water and we don't want that. See here, now we've got clear, much better. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it is something that's nice to do. So now you're gonna melt a little butter in your pan and you're gonna toast your rice first. So you're gonna hear it crackle and pop a little, and then it's gonna start to smell nutty because that's the butter caramelizing those starches, and oh, it's gonna make all the difference. Okay, just gonna stir things around. Now it's the same deal for your quinoa. You really want to rinse it well so that you wash off that bitter coating. And after it started to toast, and you'll hear it, now you can go ahead and add your water. But y'all know me, so I'm adding broth. All right, so you can probably hear that butter popping. We're gonna go ahead and add the quinoa. And I'm gonna stir this around. That's just my kombucha sitting back there. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and add our broth. Okay, so while these grains are simmering away, I'm going to go ahead and take the meat off this bird. I'm going to put the meat in here, but then I'm going to save things like the bones and the fat in here. Oh my goodness. This is so tender and juicy. Yes. It's going to be tempting not to just eat it right now, you know? I mean, look at that. And this does not have to be a fancy job at all, y'all. Like, it's not. It's just get the meat off as quickly as you can. Okay, friends, so I just finished taking all of the meat off of those two birds, and look at what is left at the bottom of the pan. This right here is liquid gold. It is a mix of all of the natural juices, the rendered fat, and the collagen that cooked out of the chicken while it was roasting. So you do not want to pour this down the drain. It is packed with so much flavor and nutrients, and it is literally the base of every good soup or gravy or pan sauce.
So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to grab a little jar. This can be a canning jar, but I keep those in my fridge. And I'm just going to take like this little strainer to strain out as much of the solids as I can.
So now all I'm going to do is just pop this in the fridge. And once it chills, which you can actually kind of start to see now, but it's going to separate. And this top layer is going to be the fat, which you can scoop off and use like a homemade schmaltz or like cooking oil for veggies or eggs or rice. It's delicious. But then this bottom layer, it's going to be this concentrated gelatinous rich broth that is perfect for soups or grains or even replacing, just like water in recipes.
So I'm going to pop this in the fridge.
Okay, so don't judge me because I know that I left probably a lot of meat on these bones. I mean, there are times when I am really thorough, but like it's really okay because all of that, the meat that I do have left on here is just going to make my stock that much more richer and flavorful. So now what I'm going to go ahead and do is I am going to use these bones, and I just stuffed those two birds with like an onion, but I'm going to use this onion, and then we're about to have so many scraps. This is my clean hand that are going to be generated from, the peppers, like, the stems and the core. We're using more onions. We've got carrots that are coming up in the recipe. And so this is essentially my scrap bowl that I am going to either keep in the fridge or possibly go ahead and make my broth tonight. And you know what? I should really stop calling this my scrap bowl. I should instead call it my collagen elixir, because this is what this is, right? Your skin is nourished from the inside out. And so, like, let me be clear. When I don't have any like links or whatever else, y'all. When I find like this stuff on sale, that's marked down. So like, you've heard of this brand, Vital Proteins, collagen, this is another one that happened to be on sale, but I do not buy this stuff all of the time. I may in a year maybe buy it 4 times, maybe. And that's it with a lot of the nutrients that I use, because it's just not affordable to like have all these supplements like all of the time. When if you cook strategically, which just means seasonally, right? Like you can get a really good deposit of those nutrients that you're looking for. So this is how I do it. I consistently make broth. Y'all have seen that because it's like, why not? It is already here in front of your face. So just have a bowl and collect all your scraps. And look, y'all, here's our hefty bag of meat. And we're going to be adding things to this. So it's going to stretch and flex, but this is more than enough. So on another note, this is an excellent time of year to start leaning into your ferments. And one of the most practical things that you can do for your kitchen and your immune system is to incorporate fermented foods. So you see, I'm a literacy specialist at my school, which means that I am walking in and out of classrooms all day long. I am pulling small groups, and there is always something going around the building. One week it's strep, the next it's some mysterious stomach bug that no one can pronounce. But here's the thing, I hardly ever get sick. Like in the beginning of the school year when everyone's back in the building again, I'll start to get like a little tickle in my throat, maybe like a little stuffiness, but it doesn't like take me out. I feel fine. While there are other, teachers and staff and students that are seriously like always catching something. And I truly think that that is because this time of year, I am loading up on my probiotics and my broth. Now wait, I'm not saying that it makes you invincible, but it does make you resilient. So if you've been thinking about dipping your toe in fermenting, this is your nudge. So the ferments that I'm using for this meal sequence allow you to start small without your family even noticing. And so we're going to be using fermented sour cream, fermented mayo, celery stuffing, and a cabbage kraut. And I think the best way to think about them is that they're the quiet kitchen helpers that you didn't even know you needed.
Okay, so our rice is done, and I'm just going to go ahead and bring it over here.
And y'all, this rice cooked up beautifully. So now you're just gonna go ahead and grab your limes from your meal prep bin, and you need a little grater, and we're gonna go ahead and create that signature cilantro lime taste, which I love. But this is using not artificial flavors, but real lime, real cilantro. Now this is just a reminder that as you're zesting, you really just want like the green part. You don't want it to be white. You don't want to zest down to the white part because that's like the bitter pith. But the green is going to give you all that flavor. And then after you add your zest, you're going to add your lime juice. Oh yeah, I told you these are juicy. It's gonna be so good. Now grab your cilantro and we're just gonna go ahead. I'll probably use about half of that. We'll start off with half. And I'm just gonna bunch it up like this and give it a rough chop. And yeah, I absolutely include the stems too. They're really tender, so why not? Yeah, that looks good. So now we're going to take our cilantro and then just generously sprinkle it on top. Oh, yeah. Now I'm just going to slowly incorporate everything. Okay, friends, so here you have it, cilantro lime rice. It is so delicious. Now, if it needs a little bit of brightness, this may be where you want to go in and just add a little bit of Redmond real salt. So this just needs a little dab. That's all it needs, and it's going to be perfect. Okay, friends, so we are back over here with our quinoa. It's just going to be, you know, light and fluffy. And so our quinoa also finished up, and this is delicious. Remember, this is toasted, and we cooked it in chicken broth. Woo. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now is just transfer our quinoa to a glass jar. And ideally, you want to store things like your rice and grains in glass, not plastic, which absorbs odors easily. And because I disproportionately cooked more cilantro lime rice than I did the quinoa, I'm going to use a half-gallon jar because for this recipe, like, I love this meal sequence because I am interchanging it for, like, this is all I'm cooking, period, for breakfast and for lunch this week, because these meals just, like, they're perfect for packing for lunch for the work week. They're also excellent for dinner. This is going to be a very busy week for me this week. And so, yeah, this is what we're doing. Okay, friends, so you know I love to do what I call battle station checks, which is to look at the layout of your kitchen as you're cooking, because I'm telling you, this is not about, you know, like batch cooking in a way that's going to leave you with a ton of dishes. So here's what things should be looking like for you. Let me go ahead and turn you around. So we have our empty pan here, and then I just removed the quinoa here, again, for our lunches and other meals. I haven't put them away just yet. I want them to cool down just a little bit more. I removed our sweet potatoes from the oven. This is the rice that we're getting ready to still work with. Here's our meal bin. And then here is the chicken. We're getting ready to use this right now. And then our scrap bowl. Now I'm saving my limes because I just want to put them on the dehydrator and then grind them up. This is excellent for the garden for pH. And then I've rinsed off my cutting board here. Again, about to use that. This pan, which was what we roasted our chicken in, I'm getting ready to use that. And I actually still want those flavors. So I just moved it over here to have, you know, more countertop space. Then I have my colander. We have this thing here. What else is in here? Yeah. Like, not crazy. I like to keep my knives up here. Like, this is it, y'all. This is not crazy. And here's the thing. Can you see me? Yeah. So here's the thing. As I get ready to cook, I'm going to repurpose this bowl, this pan. So we're not adding a whole lot of dishes to this. So like, this is the kind of prep that makes you feel like you have your life together, even if your laundry says otherwise. Friends, like, this is essentially it, because every meal we make this week is going to be pulling from this foundation. And when you do this step right here, you will be saving yourself hours of stress
and adding a whole lot of flavor back into your meals.
If this is our first time meeting, hi, I'm Cassandra from the blog becomingaafarmgirl.com, and I'm here to help you cook with what's in season, on sale, and better yet, already on your shelf. Okay, friends, so now that our base is done, we're gonna roll right into our Chipotle-inspired chicken and sweet potato burritos. And yes, this is a copycat version of those $15+ bowls that you would get at Chipotle. Except this one is made right at home for just a couple of bucks a serving. And before anybody comes for me, I am not anti-eating out because I love a good meal just as much as the next person, but for me, it has to be planned, not panicked. I'm not eating out just because I forgot to thaw something out or I don't have groceries at home. It's intentional, not impulse. And it's also informed because when you're going out to eat at a lot of these places, you are getting inferior, oils and produce, but you're still getting that like superior price tag. And that just makes no sense, right? Like most places you go, like Chipotle and all those chains, two people, like my husband and I wouldn't be able to go there without spending at least $35. Meanwhile, I'm here doing the math thinking that's a month's worth of burritos at my house. So let's get rolling, literally. Go ahead and grab your peppers and your onions and your collagen elixir bowl. We're going to go ahead and just slice these peppers and saute them. Remember, we're going to cut around the stem. This is what can go in the scrap bin. Now go ahead and dice up your onion. I transferred the sweet potatoes to this pan over here, which gave us some room to go ahead and saute our onions and peppers. Go ahead and open up your can of beans. I'm going to pour the beans in here. And those of y'all that watch my pantry chats know why I am telling you to save your bean juice. Our onions and our peppers are looking good and smelling better. I did sprinkle them with some smoked paprika. So now we're going to take our homemade fermented sour cream. And y'all, look at this. Yes. Oh, this is delicious. Look at that hang time. Look. Do you see this? No fillers. Oh, this is so creamy. It's perfect. So we're going to quickly just create a sauce, and this is going to be customized to whatever other condiments that you have already in your fridge that you like. And so I think, that's going to be more than enough. My husband loves this Melinda's black truffle sauce. And so I'm definitely going to make sure that I make this little sauce for him. And we're just going to combine a little bit of this flavor here and mix that together. Go ahead and grab your tortillas. And now we're just going to go ahead and layer. And yes, there is a method to this madness. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to start with your rice first. It's kind of like the base glue that holds everything together. And now here comes your shredded chicken. Oh, it's just so moist. And now we're going to add some of our roasted sweet potatoes. Oh my goodness, these are perfect. They're just like lightly crisp, still chewy, absolute sweet bursts of goodness. Oh, now we're going to go ahead and sprinkle on some beans. Y'all, I don't know if I'm going to be able to wrap these. That's always my problem. I'm stuffing in too much stuff. Oh, but that's not a problem, really. That's a good thing. Next, we're going to add our onions and peppers. Oh, yeah. And now we're going to drizzle over some probiotic tang. Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. See, this is fermented. No one will know or care. More importantly, it's just delicious. It's delicious. So this, my friends, is what I'm going to be having for lunch this week. Filling, hearty, savory, delicious. Okay, so let me go ahead and plate these up. Whoa, again, y'all, look at this. Look at this. And here we are, friends, your $15 Chipotle bowl made for, what, less than $2 right at home? Now, I've got to warn you, this is going to be a messy but good eat. Because there's so much flavor going on in here, y'all. Oh my goodness, because we have the cilantro lime rice. But let me just go ahead and taste this for you. Oh, that's good. I'm telling you, homemade sour cream is just, there's a freshness to it that's just so good. This is creamy. It is hearty. This is filling. Again, just perfect this time of year. We've got the tender chicken. We've got the sweet bursts from the sweet potatoes. And then, of course, sauteed onions and peppers are just classic. You want those. We have the extra fiber from the black beans. I love black beans. And the cilantro lime rice, like that is what is giving me the takeout vibes here. Oh, this is so good. So good. And what I love about this is that this is a recipe that you can eat hot or cold. So what I'm going to do, since I'm going to be taking this to work, is I'm just going to pile up all the different, like, you know, the rice and the beans and the peppers, and then just like tuck in some tortillas. But y'all, this is delicious. So delicious. Now remember, if you're more of a bowl kind of person, you can skip the tortilla entirely. That's why I love this. Bowl or burrito, it's going to hit that middle ground. And this meal is hearty, but it's not like you're going to need a nap after it. Y'all, what we just made is food that you would be served at like a $50 dinner date. So grab your container of chicken because now we're going to make Napa almond chicken salad. It's kind of like Panera style, but with real ingredients and half the price tag. I'm quickly going to take this pan that we just used for the peppers and wash it out. We're going to add that back to the stove and melt a pat of butter over some low heat. Grab your sliced almonds from your meal bin because we're going to go ahead and toast these. I'm telling you, if you don't have an aversion to nuts, like taste or an allergy, toasted sliced almonds and chicken salad is just, oh, it's so good. We're going to make sure that the butter coats all of these. Again, this is over very low heat. Just takes a couple of minutes. Okay, friends, so we have our chicken, and I'm going to go ahead and dump some in. And then next we're going to go ahead and take some of our fermented mayo. And mine is just a bit more on the yellow side because of the mustard. I just like that flavor. It does not taste mustardy at all. And again, I just like to use a lot of dill. Oh, this is so good. Okay. And again, it's fermented. We're eating this cold. And so you're not destroying those active enzymes that are in, like your fermented food. So we're going to add some mayo. The dill's already there. This is truly adding flavor. Sometimes mayo, especially store-bought, is just adding like that creaminess factor, but there is so much flavor in here. And then after that, we're going to go ahead. Oh yeah, right over here. So you could use like regular celery, but I'm going to go ahead and add my fermented sage stuffing because again, this is just so delicious, right? Like I'm now adding dill to this and sage, and this doesn't have like, it's not tangy or anything. I cannot describe it other than it is delicious. There doesn't need to be an announcement of, oh, there's fermented foods in here. Your family is just going to see that it's celery, and celery belongs in chicken salad. Okay, y'all, so this is fermented celery. And again, listen to this. And I'm telling you, pairing this celery with the sage, like you want to toss this into your regular like bread stuffing. It is so good. Man, that sage is just saging. So is the thyme. This is a delicious ferment and so easy. So you know what, y'all? I got these glazed pecans, but I'm over here like, I don't think I need them. And I'm not going to open that bag if I don't have to. I can just store it because we're going to be using these red grapes, which I've already rinsed off. And these are sweet. And then plus we're going to be like, I think it's going to be sweet enough. And then sometimes what you can do, I think that's what I'm going to do. If I wanted it to be sweeter, I have made this recipe before with just like a little bit of, brown sugar. You can just toss that in. But I don't think, and I already have, I'm not going to do that. That is not the responsible thing. I already have several bags of nuts open. Anyways, okay, you didn't need to hear all that. So I'm just taking these grapes and I'm just slicing them in half. It just makes sense to do that for easy eating. Okay, so in the dispatch, I'm going to have a recipe card, which is going to give you a good base. But honestly, you might be asking, well, Cass, like how much, X, Y, and Z do you know to add for a chicken salad? Honey, it's whatever density you like, So I love grapes. I am probably adding more grapes than, normal. But I like that. Okay. So you just look at it. You stir it around. You give it you see how it's coming together on your spoon. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead. Let me get my little pan pot holder. I know this thing is raggedy, but I got this from, I think it was the Tea and Spice Exchange, because I cook with cast iron. And so you always need something on your handles. And I have tried the silicone ones. I don't like those things. They slide off too easily. And one time I was holding a pan and it was sliding. I was like, never again. This is my favorite one. I need to get a few more. Oops, hold on. Let me give you the shot. Okay, here we are. Look at these toasted almonds. Yes. We're just going to add those here to the chicken salad. Okay, so I have a little bit of salt and pepper on standby, along with a little bit of lemon juice. Okay, so we're going to stir this together. Oh my goodness, see? This is chunky. I like a chunky chicken salad. Friends, look at my chicken salad. I mean, she is looking good, but she's missing one thing, some green onions. So I just went out back and harvested a bit. And you know what? A lot of my flavor is coming from the mayo because I don't need to add salt or pepper. It's perfect already. But yeah, I need that little bite from the onion, and these green onions. It's going to be exactly what this needs. And it's so beautiful. Oh yeah. There we go. Love it. So one thing I'm going to say about chicken salad is that it actually gets better the next day once the flavors can marry up. And again, if you're feeling fancy, you can serve this on a croissant. But here's the crazy thing, y'all. So this Thursday in my district, it's called I think it's a wellness day or something like that. But the kids are going to be dismissed early. And so teachers have planning time. And what happens with a large portion of my school is that the teachers will go out to this little cafe that's maybe 15 minutes from the school. And it's a soup and sandwich shop. And I mean, they serve great food there for sure. But then also I'm well, if it's a planning day, use that time to plan, to get ahead, because there's never enough time to get everything that you need done. But then they're going to go out and order a sandwich, some little combination. Oh yeah. Some little combination just like this. And, pay, there goes $15, $20 and the half hour of time that it took you, to go out there. And so I know that they're going to ask okay, Cassandra, are you coming with us? And I'm going to be to get what I already have? No. They know I pack my lunch. They do. We swap recipes all the time. But oh my goodness. Yes. All right, then you just layer that on top. You can even toast this to a toasted buttery croissant. Now that's delicious. All right, friends, and there we have it. Dinner or lunch for day 2 is done. Now, the way I cook with these meal sequences isn't that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, after the base, you can jump ahead, go back, choose this, double it up or not, because October weather is still just so erratic. And so even though I'm wearing flannel right now, the high today is still 80 degrees, but it's certainly cooling off, in the mornings and the evenings. I love just when I can, when I don't have to be to work, just going out and sitting outside in the morning just to breathe in that crisp fall air. But yeah, so today, or actually tomorrow, this is going to be a great meal to eat. But then I think it is going to be cooler later on in the week. So that's when we're going to have the soup. But y'all, let's go ahead and taste test this. And I don't have to tell you how good this is. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is really giving me fancy cafe vibes. Now let me tell you why I just get excited about these kind of meals and like compare them to like eating out. Because when you, or at least when I initially started, making these meals in my own kitchen that feel luxurious, right? Like you start to see how abundant your own kitchen really is. And so it's a reminder that eating well doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to be intentional, right? Because this is a whole chicken that we got on clearance. These are, buns that I also got on clearance and I just froze them. And then I'm accenting with things like grapes, We made our own fermented mayo. I mean, I don't even want to know this recipe that I made, if I was trying to get the exact same ingredients at a cafe, how much it would be, right? Now go ahead in a minute. You're on a roll. Do you really want to stop? Okay, me neither. Grab Bill bin too. Okay, so go ahead and take that quinoa pot that we haven't washed yet. Add a pat of butter. And then I'm going to use 2 fingers like this. Do y'all do crazy like little kitchen moves like that? Because I don't want to get butter everywhere, but I'm holding the camera. Goodness, what was I about to say? Oh yeah, because I'm just gonna go ahead and dip my hand now in my hot soapy water. Because I like to sometimes roll through these recipes and it's like I'm already here in the kitchen, and then when I do stuff like this, I then don't have to be, because I'm absolutely not. Like, I mean, if I'm like canning, that's different because it's just different, right? But like, I might as well get as much of a bang for my buck as I can, right? That's why I talk about like be as dangerous as possible when you're in the kitchen. Because then as I'm coming home from work, even the meals that I am assembling, it's low prep or it's already done. And plus what I really like about, I need a knife. I already have one over here. On top of my little scrap bin. And so what I really like, goodness, what was I about to say? Okay, I remembered. I was trying to be clever. So I like to say a lot of times that I'm not starting from scratch every night. And that's absolutely true. But that's not just with like starting from scratch, like ingredients every single night. There really is a base that just kind of like lifts you and you find this rhythm, and the combination of like having things where it's like, oh, well, I'm kind of already 80% through the cooking week. Like it just makes you want to do it. And then again, as you look around and you see that your kitchen isn't crazy, that you're using little bin systems like this, it's like it's good, like it's not stressful. So like right now, I'm going to go ahead and make the quinoa cakes. But then also it's like, well, if I'm going to wait for that to get done and I have another recipe that is again using overlapping ingredients, like why would I not go ahead and make another meal simultaneously? And that's how quickly a lot of these meals are coming together. And then I also wanted to share that this is a 5-meal sequence because this is like the lifeline of how I am actually cooking, throughout the work week. But I will say this because I know like, yes, I talk a lot of smack about cookbooks. I don't have anything against them, honestly. Well, no, kind of. In some ways I do. But like, here's the thing, right? I think those are inspirational, as I mentioned earlier, for like holidays and like one-offs. But trying to stitch together a menu throughout the week from a cookbook, it's not how newer cookbooks were designed. And our early American like history cookbooks, oh yeah, absolutely. A lot of those recipes are carried over from one to the next to the next to the next. And so really the full kind of like picture of my cooking is a combination between my meal sequences and then freezer meals. Y'all see, like I put together freezer meals, not that I'm trying to have like a big old freezer meal day. Like I don't really kind of like do that because that sounds exhausting. It's me stitching together, right? Like these meal sequences and saying like, oh, I'm going to go ahead and double that. Like you've seen me do this, right? Or like if I've cooked up, meat, I'll be like, oh, I'm not going to put sauce on this because then I already have like that protein ready for something else. So it's the meal sequence. It's probably pulling from the freezer. It's crock pot. And then I still like to cook like a one-off meal, most of the time that's going to be like Sunday dinner. That's just, how I grew up. I love like keeping that tradition. But sometimes it's not, right? Because either like we're having like a late Sunday or we have like activities or whatever else. But like that's how I cook consistently without too much stress. Okay, I don't know if I mentioned this, but this is going to be our carrot and ginger and turmeric soup. We're just going to saute some garlic and butter. Okay, so we've diced up the onions. We're going to put those in a minute, but then go ahead and get your carrots. This next step is optional, but these carrots are pretty sweet. But if you find that your carrots aren't, especially if you're using whole carrots, you can just go ahead and shave off this outer layer. Some people sometimes think that that is just a little bitter. And I'm going to go ahead and do that, not to all of these carrots. I don't think that's necessary, but I do want to go ahead and add some carrot skins to my broth here that I'm making. Look at that beautiful bronze garlic. So now we're going to go ahead and add our onions. We're going to saute those until they're translucent. Now we're going to go ahead and grab your ginger. You want to peel this too. And then just slice it up. I'm going to add about this much ginger, which is a lot, and I'm going to pickle the rest. Now let's make these quinoa cakes. And do you know one of the things that's on my list to can? Like, I probably need to start on that next week, but it is sweet potatoes. I think I only have like 2 jars left, but I want to go ahead and use this jar to show you, for those of you who are interested in canning or you haven't canned sweet potatoes, how they turn out. They're so good. I need to start making these. I mean, I'll make them likely fresh because they'll still be in season for like, you know, Christmas, Thanksgiving, all of that. But also, these are just excellent to whip out for like Sunday dinner. Oh my goodness. Okay, so first, hold on. Let me bring you in close. So here, let's go ahead and open up this can so you can hear the sound of freshness. You hear that? You heard that. The one thing I'm going to say is that, can you see me? Yeah. So like canned sweet potatoes, that syrup smells exactly as you think, right? I'm picking up on like brown sugar and cinnamon, maybe a hint of cloves. It is, oh my goodness. This is so good. These are so good. And you know what? I actually, I do a good job of keeping like my canning closet in order, but it's still inevitable where like a jar gets out of its section and then like pushed to the back. And actually, these were canned. I canned these in 2022. Now, canned sweet potatoes are soft. And so they're really great for recipes where you're going to like mash them or you're not worried about having, you know, it really kind of be hearty on your fork. But here is what we are looking at. See, yeah, that's what I mean. So they're soft, but they're delicious. So if you're going to make like a sweet potato pie or kind of like anything where it's like whipped sweet potatoes, this is excellent. I mean, absolutely worth canning because then you don't have to do all the work of like peeling and everything else. So those are our sweet potatoes. Okay, so I'm actually going to pour off this syrup because we don't need that for this recipe. But don't you worry, this is not going down the drain, honey. I have a use for this. And you know what I'm going to do? This is so sweet. It already tastes so good. And so like the work is already done. I am going to likely cook one of my squash, the ones that you saw like right over there. Oh, that's good. Wow. Okay. I made these sweet. And I'm just going to drizzle it over like my acorn squash, put a few nuts over top, maybe whatever meat filling I have, some type of like ground beef or turkey or combination. That is going to be exquisite. And so to our sweet potatoes, we're going to add our quinoa. And I'm just going to add this whole thing. Oh, let's go ahead and add our carrots to the pot. And our turmeric. I still have some of the skins on because I'm not trying to like stain my fingers. You can also use powdered turmeric as well. Grab your broth and we're just going to go ahead and pour that over. And we're just going to bring this to a gentle boil. Meanwhile, back to the quinoa cakes. Let's go ahead and mash in these sweet potatoes before we add our binding ingredients. Okay, friends, I hope you can see the difference here. It's really well incorporated. Like these already kind of look like patties, which is what you want. But we're still going to go ahead and add an egg. I might just need one egg. I had set aside 3 because again, sometimes I'm not sure what my servings are going to look like depending on other things I'm making. But this is just going to really help to ensure that things are binding. I think I'm going to need 2. Yeah, because we're also going to go ahead and we're going to add breadcrumbs to this as well. But those sweet potatoes really added a lot of hydration. Yeah, we're going to need a second egg here. And then now what we'll do is go ahead and grab your breadcrumbs. And then again, you can absolutely use almond flour if that's your vibe. And this is adding flavor, but also the coating that we're going to need. Go ahead and incorporate that. I'll go ahead and grab those herbs. With the sage here, I am just going to use the leaves. We're going to add the stems to our collagen elixir. That'd be great. Great flavor. We'll also add some parsley. Yeah, we'll be pretty generous with this parsley. Okay, and you know how we do. We're just going to bunch it up. Go ahead and add those herbs to the bowl. And because it's me, y'all, we're going to go ahead and add just a little bit of smoked paprika. And then these will likely need just a pinch of salt. Now, this is just a reminder. If your mix feels too wet, just add a spoonful more of your breadcrumbs or almond flour if that's what you're using. But if it feels too dry, you can just drizzle with a touch of that leftover butter from roasting or even just a splash of broth. Okay, so now just go ahead and take a plate because now we're going to take our mix and we're going to form them into the quinoa cakes. Yeah, you can just go ahead and this size is probably fine. And yeah, you're just going to go ahead and form your cakes and you just want them to stick together. Voila. Just like this. Oh my goodness, there's so much flavor and nutrition packed into these little cakes. They're so easy to make. And this is also something that you don't have to even make these. You don't have to make them and then fry them. That's what we're going to go ahead and do. You could also bake these on the same day. These are going to keep in the refrigerator for you for up to 2 days. Well, it might be longer, but that's what I've done and they've been fine. So, and you know what? These would freeze wonderfully too. I haven't frozen them in this form, although they are essentially cooked. But I have frozen them after I've baked them, and that's beautiful too. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll dip these in panko crust. I'm not doing all that right now. They're going to be fine. But that's another really good option too. Oh yeah. So good. Okay, so these are our patties, and what we need to do with them right now is to just put them in the refrigerator for at least 10 minutes so they can firm up a bit and set. But after I do that, I'm going to take the leftovers, and y'all, again, here's how cooking in a meal sequence, I most all of the time will absolutely have a spin-off recipe that I'm spinning off for oh, here's also breakfast ideas that I have, or hey, this is also going in the freezer, which is so nice, right? This is so nice. So I'm going to go ahead and just take this, put it in a baggie, then smash it down flat because we will be having quinoa cakes in the upcoming weeks. Okay, boom, this is bagged up and ready for the freezer. Okay, we're finally getting to this pan, so bring it to the stove. Drizzle with some oil. So let's quickly go ahead and check in on our soup because, oh, this smells incredible. Yeah, we just want to make sure that the carrots are tender, and they are. So let's go ahead and cut the heat. And then I'm actually going to slide it off the burner. And now I'm just going to use a fork to lower our quinoa cakes in the pan. They only need about maybe 3 to 4 minutes on each side. Yes, I love it when it works out like this. See, I've made these recipes so many times and I just knew how many would fit in the pan. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and flip these over. Gorgeous. Yes, yes, yes. That is what we want. That nice crispy coating.
And of course you can continue to flip these over. Oh yeah. Okay, y'all, so I'm gonna go ahead and what did I just do with my, oh, here's my fork. I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna drain these. Now, I don't use paper towels. I don't have any. And so I do use cloth in my house. Like, these are just gonna get washed. They're not fancy. They're not for decor. Every day is a special day. And so we're just gonna let these drain. Okay, so here's our little platter. And to complete this meal, you are gonna want something to kind of dip this in. But remember, we already made our sauce. I just went ahead and took it out of the meal bin. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and put this right here. And then, actually, let me turn it around like that for you. We're gonna go ahead and just lay down our cakes because y'all, like, this is what we're eating tonight. Now, come on, friends, look at what we just plated up. Now, to be sure, these already have amazing flavor on their own, but you are going to want to just dollop them with this sauce. Okay, let's do the taste test. Yeah. You have the creamy, you have that creamy, smoky sauce that then is just anchored by like the sweet potato taste just coming through. Quinoa is more of like texture, but it just blends so well. And these things are savory. That's what it is. It is just savory. This is a very like autonomous dish. And the thing is that after you start to eat, like the first one, you're like, oh yeah, this is good. By your third or fourth one, you're like, whoa, okay, I'm full. I also like that you have like the fresh herbs that are coming through. Yeah, these are so good. Okay, so now that our soup has cooled off, we're gonna go ahead and just take an immersion blender and then blend things up. All right, so we are getting this smooth, velvety texture that is perfect for a carrot and turmeric soup. But I actually already have these mashed sweet potatoes on hand. And I normally do just because I make my dog Thor's food. And so I'm always going to add like canned pumpkin or I'm going to add sweet potato. So I just like to go ahead and prep them in advance. But this is going to complement this dish nicely. So let's go ahead and blend that in there as well. Turmeric works synergistically with pepper. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some of that in now. The last bit that I have. Okay, now let's go ahead and spoon this into the bowl. I mean, now this is a fall recipe. Oh yeah. But it gets even better. So this is where you want to go ahead and grab your kefir, or kefir as I call it. Shake it up. And then right before serving, and not before, because again, you want to keep those probiotics alive and they get killed off by heat. And so you're just going to swirl in a spoonful of two. Oh my goodness. Doesn't that look so fancy? Y'all, that looks fancy. Like, this looks like a real blog soup, right? At least for me, it does. Right? Like, look at that soup. Look at it. So y'all, just by doing that, we added a probiotic hit. And you know what? I forgot that I have white pepper. And so I'm just going to add a little bit of that to the top here. And then I just need to go downstairs to my basement because I have like extra spices that are down there. I just need to bring it up. What am I looking for? Oh, and then I think I'm going to do just like a pinch, because that's all you need of this stuff, of cloves. Boom. That's it. Oh, it smells so good. Okay, I stand corrected. This makes me look like a pro and not an amateur. And with that, we just transformed this soup from simple to special. And that's what I really just love about home cooking. It's like the little things that are done well. Okay, so let's go ahead. Oh my goodness. And swirl this in. Y'all, this soup is so good and it's so good for you. I love soups. I love soups. I love stews, chilies, all of that. Okay. Okay, here's our taste test.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Y'all, that ginger it's warming. It's not spicy. You have the sweetness, but not sweet. You know what I mean? It's nature's carb sweetness, not like the grapes earlier this week, but it's mild, and this soup is cozy. It's coating my throat. There's a good body to this soup. It's so creamy. Mm. Oh yeah. Plus, like, we use the chicken broth, which is adding really good flavor. This soup has flavor. It's depth. It's so good. Oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So if you pack this for lunch, it is going to reheat beautifully. And then when you warm this up, your coworkers are going to be like, what smells so good? And what I especially like is that this soup doesn't just taste nourishing, like it is nourishing. Think about it. You already have all the minerals and antioxidants that are coming from the vegetables. And then you have the collagen that's coming from the broth and the probiotics that's coming from the kefir. And then you're getting all those anti-inflammatory properties from the ginger and the turmeric. I mean, I'm telling you what, everyone else is passing around tissues. I'm passing around recipes. Okay, so if you've been here for a while, any guesses as to how I'm going to store all this soup? That's right, a half-gallon jar. I love these jars. And then, you know what? Because like I said, they store everything. If I'm doing soups or chilies or even casseroles, spaghetti, it's hard to like not store beverages, you know, liquids, whatever, broths. And so normally I would just put like a little cap on it. But because this is soup, I can actually use my little lid that I already have here. Praise the Lord. Okay, let me go ahead and get my funnel. And into the fridge we go. Okay, friends, it's Friday and you have made it to the last meal in this sequence. And we're about to make the autumn harvest grain bowl. But come on now, we've been eating good all week. Smoky burritos, the creamy chicken salad, the cozy quinoa cakes, and that golden soup. But this one is the grand finale. But again, it's still light enough for lunch, but hearty enough for dinner, and still looks like it came from a farm-to-table cafe. Except it's built from what we've already cooked and prepped. And that's the beauty of this meal system. We didn't meal prep 5 different recipes. Instead, we built from a foundation and kept reinventing it. Because that's how you cook smart and eat well. So go ahead and grab meal bin 3. All right, so your mileage may vary, but I can guarantee you that you already have everything that you need to make this recipe. So you're gonna grab whatever amount of quinoa you have left, and then this is the last of the rice. This is gonna be enough for 2 bowls, and maybe another, like 1 bowl for my husband, which is gonna be bigger, and then 1 for me, and then maybe a tinier bowl, but I don't know, we'll see how it works. You'll also need your sauteed peppers, your toasted almonds, pumpkin seeds, your roasted sweet potatoes, the apples, and then your arugula or whatever green salad blend you're using. And here's what's left of the chicken after I portioned it out for my lunch. So I maybe have like a cup and a half. Not a lot, but it's absolutely more than enough. We're gonna make a dressing for this salad, so go ahead and grab your fermented sour cream. Okay, so this is the container that I'm gonna use. And y'all, a fermented salad dressing. Oh my goodness. If you were to buy a fermented salad dressing, which I don't even think I see those even at the health food store, but if you did, you know that it would be so expensive. And B, again, this is a sour cream based recipe. So your family, unless you tell them, they won't even know. And now I'm just going to go in with a little bit of tahini. Oh, y'all know I love this stuff, especially since we've got all the flavors that pair so well with tahini. We have the nuts and the beans and the rice and the couscous. Oh my goodness. And the apples, like it's just going to be amazing. So yeah, I'm going to add some tahini. So then next up, we're going to drizzle with a little bit of maple syrup. And after we mix this around, we're going to taste it. So if you need to add, more of something, you're going to be fine. All right, then you're going to go ahead and add a splash or 2 of apple cider vinegar. This could even be sauerkraut brine as well. I've used that too. Then we're just going to hit this with a pinch of salt and pepper. I finally went down to the basement where I just keep like my little pantry stockpile and brought up some pepper. All right, just a little pinch. That's more than enough. And then we're just going to stir everything together. Okay, friends, so now we're going to go ahead and build our bowls. And I'm going to start this off with our greens, which are going to be the base. And here's what I'll tell you. If you wanted to, you could warm up hold on, let me go ahead and show you, because these greens have been in the refrigerator for over a week. And look how beautiful they are. Still, y'all, 6 days later, can you hear that? They're still crunchy, right? They're still vibrant and green. They're still they still have their texture. I'm telling you, just small little hacks like this to store your food properly. And you already have something like this. You don't have to order anything. You really don't. But this is what helps to extend the shelf life of your food. But anyways, as I was saying, so I'm not going to heat up anything because I don't know what the weather is doing. So it's October. It's still early October, but the fall can be weird. But I feel like last year it was already much cooler, but there would still be occasional days where it would still be pretty warm. But no, it's been holding steady. It's been, 80-degree highs most days, even in the evening, because this is the time of year that I like to start leaving the windows open, the bedroom open, or the bedroom windows open at night just to get a nice little breeze. I can't even do that because it's still warm. And so that's why I like having recipes this time of year that can lean hot or cold, because it's still weather dependent. I want to start leaning into those savory warm meals, but also if it's still super hot, it makes it kind of tough. Okay, but yeah, so we have our greens there. And now we're going to go ahead. Let me grab a spoon. All right. And now we're just going to kind of layer this like a casserole. Although you could do the little section. Sometimes I do that. All right. Again, there's still so much flavor that is built into these bowls. Okay, friends. So as you see, I have about this much rice that's left. And you know what? So that is absolutely perfect, because this is going to be our lunch tomorrow. I am going to take this and make just chicken and rice soup. And it's not regular rice, right? Because I already have the lime flavor that's in there and the lime zest. So this rice is really savory. And so, yeah, I am going to go ahead and I won't have enough chicken really for 2 bowls, but then I'll just take a jar of my canned chicken. Yep. Put that over top. That's going to take no time for me to do. I love that. The thing is that when you actually cook and you're cooking in a meal sequence, and sometimes even if you think the portions aren't I am absolutely okay with the portions not always being exact for that recipe, because I have so many staple options that the leftovers of 1 or 2 ingredients can then quickly adapt into something else, And so that is a blessing. So this is chicken and rice. Well, now chicken and quinoa soup tomorrow. So I've added that, but my husband will probably want 2 bowls. He probably will. All right. And now we're going to go ahead and add our roasted sweet potatoes. I'll just sprinkle these around the perimeter. Now we'll add some black beans. I wish you could smell this. I really wish you could smell this. Oh my goodness. Smells amazing. Looks even better. Y'all, come on now. Look at this. Yeah. Oh, that's so good. You know what? I have just a few peppers that I'm going to save this to add in tomorrow's cilantro and chicken rice soup. That's going to be so good. Instant flavor. Love it. Now I'm going to sprinkle on just a few of these pepitas. You could toast them if you'd like. All right. And then I still have more of these almonds. And we eat nuts around here all of the time. So this is just going to stay in my fridge bin for next week. It's all good. Did I toast these? Yeah, I toasted these. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take our apple and we're just going to dice this up And again, this is just adding a different flavor element than what we've had all week. This is going to be juicy and sweet and just, oh my goodness, an explosion full of flavor in your mouth. I mean, friends, look at this bowl already. You are not upset that we just need to accent this with chicken, right? Because there's already so much goodness going on. And let me tell y'all, I have worked all week. It's been busy. You know what I mean? I am ready to really just relax. So Trey and I are just going to eat this probably out on the deck because again, it is nice outside. And you know what? I just made us a delicious dinner. My kitchen is not crazy, right? Because after this, honestly, I might just go to bed early tonight. Anyways, so I'm going to take this chicken and I'm going to put this chicken over top. Okay, so you know what? I think I'm just going to go ahead. Trey's got that. I'm just going to give him the last of that. Okay, friends, so just stop and ask yourself, how much do you think this salad retails for if you were going out to eat? I mean, it would at least be $20 for likely just a portion size that's like this. And we use tahini on this, so you know that's an upcharge. Okay, so let's go ahead and drizzle over our dressing. Oh, this is so good. Okay, friends, so let's go ahead. And my husband likes to call these scavenger hunt salads. He's like, you just put so much in your salads. It's just so good. There's so many flavors. He's right. I mean, that's the best way to build a salad. Oh gosh, I should have put this in a bigger bowl. Okay, so here's what I could fit on one forkful. And the great thing about a salad like this is that since you can't fit everything on your fork all at once because so much is already on there, you know that each forkful is going to be flavorful, but also a little different. Yeah, this is perfect. I'm getting the smoked paprika, the tender bell peppers, the crunch from the nuts. This is so great. Like, this is a salad. Like, if you were actually over at my house and we're casual friends, like, you would do like this. You're talking in between bites and you just want to keep like stuffing more flavors in your mouth. This is so good. Oh, that apple? Oh, yeah. And there it is, an entire week's worth of meals. But do you know why this works? It's because we didn't start with 5 different meals every single day this week. No, we got creative with humble ingredients. A chicken, some sweet potatoes, grains, and some ferments. I mean, that's what our grandmothers did, right? They didn't have time for Pinterest boards or perfect meal plans, and they made it work. And you can too. So whether you're making this for dinner tonight or for lunch tomorrow, I hope that this reminds you that making good food doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to be intentional. I just think that we're all a little bit tired of the noise, whether it's the trends or the guilt or thinking that you need a new gadget or a completely new kitchen just to feed yourself well. And no, that's not it, because the power is already in your pantry. You just need a rhythm that helps you see it. Because when you have a system, one that helps you to shop smarter and batch better, and then stretch your meals even further, dinner stops being that 5:30 panic and starts being something that you actually look forward to. And so the complete meal sequence with the prep guides, the grocery list, and the recipe cards, whether you're feeding 1 or 6, is inside the Dinner's Done dispatch, where we only cook with what's in season, on sale, already on your shelf, and especially for busy weeks. Now you know I want to know what your favorite meal from this sequence was. For even more meal inspiration, click the video on your screen. I'll see you in my kitchen or garden soon. Take care, friends.